Yes, they're here. Oh, okay. So, call the meeting to order. Quorum is present because we have 3 members. The vote required to make a decision is majority vote out of the 3, so 2 out of the 3. You've all been through a little soliloquy of what we do on the board and so forth, so I'm not going to go through that again. And you've given us new applications with a little, some update of the information, obviously, that time has passed. So now it's just our job to kind of go through what we did before and see if there's, 2 of us have already had a lot of your information already. You've given us some new material. Natasha has already, reviewed your material, I'm sure, and so forth. So maybe the thing to do is just to ask, rather than, you're free to make a presentation if you want, but do you have any particular questions? Would you like them to make a little summary of where they are and so forth? What would be
So
good
I
for you?
reviewed the packet, and I was pretty sure I understood the picture here, but so that's why I consulted with
Right.
you ahead of time just to make sure. It looks like everything was approved, and that things hadn't gone to they weren't sent over to the registry.
Right.
And so I see that it was basically just some sort of a filing error, and that we're here. This is kind of a procedural hearing today. Is just
Right.
and so I'm happy to approve. I've reviewed the material. I would be happy to go forward with the same vote that I missed in June, and I apologize for missing that meeting in June. But I'd be happy to go forward with the same
Okay.
vote. That's where I would be headed, and I don't feel like I need more information. But if somebody was ready to get up and make a, and wants to perform, then go right ahead. I'll listen.
Not if they don't have to. Sandy, how about you?
And I see the building's up.
All right, so maybe you guys can help me then. What I did was to prepare a new decision. I sent you the old one, just so you guys could have it. But now I have new ones, and let's see what I did with those. So let's start with Casey's situation. I'll give you guys copies of the new decision. So if you go to, so we have to do this all over again, right? But we're putting into record everything you did before and the updated information that you gave us. Now we have to go through the process. And so maybe you guys can follow with me on page 5. Just make sure I get this right, because I'm just gonna,
This is the Benner application.
right, we're on Benner, and I highlighted it in yellow, right, of the decisions that we have to make. And then let me just be sure. You have the old one, and I do too. So I'm gonna handwrite through, you remember what we sent you before? It was a form, it was a decision, and it had the does not, has not, and those were lined out on the computer. So now we're gonna do that by hand on another decision. So I wanna make sure I get it right here. Let's see what we're doing. Okay. Okay. All right. So, I'm gonna go down Casey's first. So page 5, 4, number 4. So it should say the applicant, I should delete has not, correct? On that one? The applicant has shown, so I'm gonna strike through has not, right there.
Oh, okay, yes.
Okay. Then we're gonna go down under 5.1, and it says the applicant's property would or would not, and I'm gonna strike through would not cause a practical difficulty, okay. Then 5.1A, strict application does not, I'm gonna strike through does not, yes?
Yep.
Okay. 5.1b, I'm going to strike, the strict application does not result in significant economic injury. I'm going to strike through does not. Okay, 5.2, subject property does not meet each of the following criteria. I'm going to say does, so I'm going to strike through does not. Okay, then A under that, the need for variance is not due, and I'm going to strike through is not. Then the next line in there is there's another choice of is not, and I'm going to strike through is. Yes? Agree,
Not
Sandy?
due to
And
general
is-
conditions of the neighborhood.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Sorry, I.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I'm having
Yep,
everybody, you guys
thanks.
look
Yep,
at it.
You got the, yep.
Okay, B, granting of the variance will or will not, I'm gonna say will, so I'm a will not, so I'm gonna strike through will, produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood. C,
Oh, striking will there twice. Right.
yeah, good catch, see why? Takes all us to do it? Yes. Okay. C, practical difficulty is or is not the result of action, and I'm gonna strike through is. D, I'm gonna say no other, strike through another, feasible alternative. Okay, E, granting the variance will or will not unreasonably adversely affect the environment, I'm gonna strike through will, so it says will not. F, property is not located in whole or in part within the shoreland zone, I'm gonna strike through is. Okay, now I'm in C1, variance is or is not being granted for establishment of any uses prohibited by the ordinance.
Strike is.
Strike is. C2, said for, the board does not find that the proposed structure would meet all the standards, and we're gonna say does, so we're gonna strike out does not. Okay. Now then D, I'm gonna put in 3 out of 3 in favor. So I'm gonna write in the word 3 out of 3 in favor. To grant, I'm going to strike deny. Okay, let's see if there's anything more on that. All right, now, so let me just go back and say that the other change I made in this compared to the first one was it was a number 11 on the first page.
Yes.
I put in 10 foot, okay? Then I put in the correct address, and then I added in 17 additional facts that we voted in favor of the variance at the June 1 meeting, and this is another meeting pursuant of Section 5 of 4353. Okay, so that's the new one I added. Any changes to Exhibit A? I don't think so. It's the same facts. But- Okay, so what we can do is sign this one. I'm going to date it today. Looks like you're next there, Sandy. Okay. Natasha. Okay. So here's the decision for Max. Do you have something for us to sign? A certificate?
Yes, so this is just a certificate of waiver approval that will go to the Lincoln County Registry of Deeds.
Okay,
I'll need to have Eileen's signature on that since she's the notary public, but that'll be on Monday.
okay,
After that, it'll be sent to the Lincoln County Registry of Deeds. Check with them ahead of time, that should be a recordable document.
great.
It's based on what the town used back and for another variance,
Okay,
so it'd be odd if it wasn't approved.
And so this is just in case
Yes.
she would technically supposed to
She-
witness it. If there's an issue with that, I would just say, if you email me,
Mm-hmm.
I can pop in and, in the morning.
Same
or
thing,
something
any of
like
us will
that.
will
Yeah.
come
All
by
right.
again.
Hopefully it'll be all
Or she
right.
can call us,
Well,
and
not
we'll still
Sanford.
come in.
Sanford wouldn't be able to do that on Monday.
I will be a continent away,
Good for you.
Oh, wow, which continent?
Italy,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're,
Good.
Europe.
Wow. I guess that's a good excuse.
all right, now, next. Let's see if I have this, okay. Same thing as before. Any other comments? No? Good. Okay, so here's, you guys can help me walk through this one too. I did the same thing on,
Page 5.
yeah, and I did the same thing on the additional facts in number 17, page 2, that we voted before, and now this
Yep.
is, okay. All right, so now we have the same yellow markings here. All right. So 4, the applicant has shown, so I strike has not. 5-1 would, let me just follow what we did before.
Just in case.
Yeah, yeah,
Just in case one jumps out at you, which.
that's right.
Okay.
Okay. So 5-1, I'm gonna strike through would not. And since we've already been through this before, I'm just gonna go down, and just tell you what I'm gonna strike through and see if you agree. 5-1A, I'm gonna strike does not. 5-1B, gonna strike does not. 5-2, I'm gonna strike or does not. Okay, 5-2A, I'm gonna strike is not. And I'm gonna strike is, okay? In that, in A. B, will, I'm gonna strike will. And I'm gonna strike will the second time it appears in that section. C,
Is.
C, strike is, thank you. Okay. D, I'm gonna strike another. E, gonna strike will.
Yep.
F, I'm gonna strike is. C1, I'm gonna strike is. C2, I'm gonna strike does not. Okay, and down in D, I'm gonna insert 3 out of 3 in favor to grant, so I'm gonna strike deny. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Max, that's for you. Okay. Great, thanks. So then, if Eileen needs you tomorrow, before you go, she can give you a call.
Yep.
Yeah,
We'll be leaving at 9 o'clock Sunday morning, probably, 9 or
Okay.
10, in between snowstorms.
We're not gonna get.
Yeah,
right? We're
sneak
not gonna
out.
get
good luck. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned?
All set?
Good luck, everybody.
Yep.